Is that Putin? Doesn't this guy in this image look like Putin? It's not Putin. It's a wealthy 15th century merchant by the name of Arnolfini, which is where this artwork gets its name. Today we are looking at Jan van Eyck's Arnolfini wedding portrait. I'm Dr. Megan Lorraine Debin, and I'm an art historian, and this is Art Trippin lecture series.
Hi, I'm Dr. Megan Lorraine Debin, and this is Art Trippin.
This is Jan van Eyck's Arnolfini wedding portrait. You may have seen this image before. It's kind of iconic. It's a pretty well-known work of Northern Renaissance art. And one thing I want to point out to you is I want you to, first things first, look at all the rich texture and detail. Jan van Eyck has gone through really painstaking work with oil paint to depict the fur coat of this sitter, to depict the dramatic green dress of the bride with these fur-lined collars. You can also see the artist has paid a great deal of attention to depicting this kind of brass chandelier, the red fabric of the bed behind them, the wooden floor. Look at the close-up of the little dog. All of these little individual hairs and whiskers are depicted. So Jan van Eyck, in true Northern Renaissance style, is depicting all of the different textures in the image. One thing I want to point out is a lot of times students will look at this image and think that the bride is pregnant. Now, there's been a lot of debate about that, but the general consensus is that actually she may not be pregnant, and in fact, she's just sort of showing off the style of clothing at the time. So as you can see, she has taken up and gathered this fabric in the front and has pulled it up, and you can see this illustrated really well in this image here, in this modern day recreation of a similar dress. You can see that it is lined with this really rich fur, and all of this fur and all of this excessive bright green fabric would have been a statement of wealth. This is the sitter showing off their wealth through this expensive fabric and all of this excess fabric. Other elements that indicate their wealth, of course, are this elegant fur coat or fur cape that Arnolfini himself is wearing, the details of, the brass chandelier. And look behind Arnolfini. Look at on the windowsill. You will see a couple of little cuties. Yeah, that's right. You'll see tangerines. How is this an indicator of wealth and status? Well, remember, we are in Northern Europe. We're in the Netherlands, and I don't know if you've been there, but you may know that it is a little bit too cold to be growing citrus there. We have these tangerines on the windowsill. This means that this guy has enough money to pay for imported citrus fruits. Now, I live in Long Beach, California, and I have an orange tree in my backyard. I have a lemon tree. Actually, I have 3 or 4 lemon trees. So I understand the abundance of citrus trees. And remember that in 15th century Northern Europe, these kinds of citrus fruits would be a real delicacy. So these, again, are indicators of wealth and status. Most scholars agree that this is either some sort of wedding portrait. It may have been done right after or right before their marriage. You see behind them is this red canopy bed. This perhaps refers to 15th century marriage. The main purpose was creating an heir. So perhaps this bed behind them is a reference to this bride's wifely duties. You will also see on the floor in the foreground these little shoes that have been kicked off, which again maybe are an indicator of, we're getting ready for bed. Wink, wink, you know. We also see this little dog in the foreground, and most scholars agree that the dog in Renaissance portraiture is a symbol of fidelity. These are the wifely duties that women were expected to abide by, that women were meant to be, like a dog, loyal to their husbands, perhaps loyal to a fault. This loyalty was not always expected of the men, but the women were expected to be loyal. And a lot of times this dog is a symbol of that loyalty, either an indication of a desirable quality in a wife, or perhaps an affirmation that she does possess that loyalty and fidelity. The last thing I want to show you in this image is, it's like art history inception. I love this detail. Look back behind these two figures, behind this portrait, and you will see on the back wall, we see this round mirror and the image is sort of fish-eyed. And we actually see the back of the two sitters in the mirror, and perhaps another figure, perhaps someone who has come in the door, perhaps the artist himself, depicted in that mirror. And you see all of the details, including the little tangerines on the windowsill. So here Jan van Eyck is really showing off his ability to create all of these details. Look also at the images of the stations of the cross that surround that mirror, and you can see that Jan van Eyck is even creating these really delicate highlights, showing this kind of smooth ceramic or glass surface of the image of the stations of the cross in the lunettes around the mirror. You will also see this set of beads with the little green tassels dangling off. This might be something that would be used to tie back the red curtains around the bed, but you can see the highlights, the attention to detail and to depicting these glass beads and these kind of fuzzy tassels. You can also see a little broom. Again, Jan van Eyck is paying attention to all of the details of the different textures. And there is some virtuosity here. This is Jan van Eyck showing off how great he is at working with the oil paints and how great he is at depicting the details and the different surface textures in the painting. Now, above that mirror, you will also see some really fabulous script. And this is Jan van Eyck. His name is written here, and it says, Jan van Eyck was here. So basically, Jan van Eyck is tagging his own painting. I mean, it's kind of like a signature, but it's as if he has tagged the wall. This is another indicator of some changes in the Renaissance. Remember, the status of the artist changes in the Renaissance from that of an anonymous cultural worker to an individual who is trying to make a name for himself. And Jan van Eyck wants you to know that he painted this. And so he has tagged the back wall of his sitter's home with his signature. Now, if that's not an example of Renaissance era individualism, I don't know what is. Hopefully this has helped you understand Northern Renaissance art in the 15th century or the 1400s. Stay tuned for more Art Trippin lecture series.